Episode 12. Seraphina extended her hand, and the air around her condensed and solidified with astonishing speed, taking the form of a blade. "Blade of Niflhel," she proclaimed with an icy voice. The ice sword was as hard as the most tempered steel, its edge gleaming with a cold light that seemed capable of cutting through anything, and its very presence radiated a cold that froze without mercy. Sofia was visibly surprised by the intensity of Seraphina's weapon. "Do you plan to go all out from the start?" she replied, her own smile becoming bolder. "Out of courtesy, I shall do the same." With a gesture of her hand, Sofia began to conjure her own weapon. Flames danced and condensed, forming an imposing blade. "Ignis blade, the flame," she declared. Its glow was impressive, so intense that it seemed capable of melting everything before even cutting it. Despite being forged in fire, its hardness was comparable to the purest obsidian, and its edge burned with a searing intent. Both, wielding their elemental weapons, prepared for the attack, the air charged with the expectation of the imminent collision. Ran, recovering little by little, could barely comprehend what he was witnessing, his mentor fighting for the first time with her full power. The sensation was inexplicable, an intense heat followed by gusts of freezing wind clashing in the air. Sofia noticed her pupil's movement. "You have to leave. I won't be able to protect you here, Ren," Sofia said, her voice tense with concentration. Ren struggled to stand. "You won't have to tell me twice," he replied, trying to move slowly away from behind Sofia. Seraphina, observing the scene with a cold smile, intervened. "Who says anyone is leaving here?" She ignited her aura, and an unbreakable wall of ice formed instantly in front of Ren, sealing his escape. With an expression of fierce defiance, Sofia swung her Ignis blade and with a precise strike, split Seraphina's ice wall. The solid barrier began to crack and crumble. Ren, amazed by his teacher's demonstration of power, resumed his slow and painful path, trying to leave the conflict zone. "He is not your target," Sofia snapped at Seraphina, her voice resonating with a warning. Seraphina, detecting that slight moment of distraction in Sofia, launched herself into the attack with the speed of ice. But Sofia's reaction was instantaneous. The two elemental swords resonated through the building with a deafening clash. A dense vapor spread everywhere, fire and ice fighting to take control of the space. The movements of both combatants alternated between attacks and defenses, a deadly dance of high-level close-quarters combat. Seraphina tried to distract Sofia by freezing the floor where they fought, creating a slippery surface. But Sofia jumped with agility and melted the ice at her feet the very moment she touched the ground again. Sofia launched 3 daggers made of fire aura, managing their trajectories with lethal precision. The attacks became incessant. Seraphina stopped one dagger with condensed ice she quickly generated to cover her neck, while parrying a direct sword strike from Sofia with her blade of Niflhel. She began to feel cornered. Activating her aura even further, Seraphina generated a short ice sword for her other hand and performed a brutal double slash on Sofia, who managed to stop it with her own sword, the clash of energies creating another burst of steam and crackling. The intensity of the combat between these two powerful Class S adapters was tremendous. The battle between Sofia and Seraphina intensified, a deadly dance of elements and wills. The air crackled with the collision of their auras, steam and ice melting and reforming with every thrust and every block. Sofia's Ignis blade danced with a burning ferocity, seeking any opening in Seraphina's glacial defense. The blade of Niflhel and its shorter counterpart moved with calculated coldness, creating ice barriers that Sofia incinerated instantly, or launching freezing blasts that the Lady of Fire deflected with fluid movements. Neither gave an inch. Sofia's attacks were fast and direct, explosions of heat and light that forced Seraphina into constant defense, forcing her to consume more aura to maintain her ice formations. Seraphina, for her part, sought to exhaust Sofia with her own resistance, weaving ice traps on the floor and in the air, trying to freeze the heat emanating from her opponent. The sound of crackling fire and breaking ice echoed in the hallway, a testament to the clash of two unstoppable forces. While the titanic confrontation unfolded in the heart of the base, Ren, with his last reserves of energy, managed to leave the building. His body still trembled from the effort and pain, but a new concern assaulted him. Leo was nowhere to be found. He searched the places where they had been helping the wounded at the entrance of the police base. Desperation took hold of Ren. His voice, weak at first, became a heartbreaking cry that echoed in the night. "Leo, where are you?" The echo of his plea was lost in the distant chaos of the battle, while anxiety consumed him. The battle between the two Class S adapters had reached its peak, a frenzy of energy and skill. They were a pair of experienced warriors, highly trained swordswomen who carried the scars of countless wars in their souls. Every move Sofia made was a flare of fury, with her fire daggers flying toward her opponent and her Ignis blade clashing with Seraphina's frigid ferocity. For her part, Seraphina defended and counterattacked with surgical precision, her ice weapons as lethal as they were beautiful. The fight was incredibly even, a clash of elements that made the building shake. In a crucial moment, after a deafening clash of swords, Sofia managed to hit Seraphina with a fire dagger. The dagger left a significant wound on Seraphina's side. Sofia noticed, to her surprise, that the fire had instantly cauterized the cut, so there was no blood. Seeing her opponent retreat from the impact, she decided to attack with more force. Her blows became faster and heavier, Seraphina's defense began to weaken, and little by little, her face started to crack. At that moment, Seraphina's true appearance was revealed, a form composed entirely of ice. "Why did you send your ice avatar here?" Sofia shouted at her, with a mix of anger and disappointment. Without waiting for an answer, she launched a fire attack known as the Phoenix to finalize the contest. The attack struck the avatar and it disintegrated completely, leaving Sofia alone in the hallway with deep disappointment on her face. "I am not pleased. An avatar only holds a portion of your real aura. Now I will go find the real one to finish this fight," she exclaimed. Sofia headed without losing a moment to the control center, intending to see the general situation and, if possible, catch the real Seraphina. Upon arrival, she observed the state of the place, a chaos of destruction and ice. Her eyes fixed on the spot where, according to Ren's visions, Raphael had been held captive. However, she only found remains of what might have been his place of retention. To understand what had happened, she went to the security camera controls and rewound the recording. She saw Seraphina interrogating Raphael, but the recording had audio problems, preventing her from hearing what was said. Even so, she saw clearly how Seraphina headed toward the room where the seized weapon was kept for study. Sofia deduced, judging by the images, that Seraphina kept Raphael alive to extract information about the weapon's location. Just before leaving the control center, she saw one last revealing image, Seraphina turning toward the camera and performing her ice avatar technique. "She used it to divert my attention," Sofia thought. "She has improved her technique. Now it looks exactly like her." A cold fury ignited within her. "I'm going to melt that ice cube when I see her," she thought as she walked with renewed determination. Upon arriving at the weapons storage room, she found everything frozen and the weapon no longer in the security compartment. There were no traces of Seraphina. There was only one way into this place, Sofia thought, her mind seeking logic in her enemy's apparent escape. "I must find where she went." Sofia didn't waste time. She ignited her fire aura, instantly melting all the ice in the room. In doing so, she discovered a hole in the wall, Seraphina's escape route. The weapon had vanished, and with it, her enemy. Aware of Ren's poor condition, she decided her priority was to find her pupil. Sofia exited through the same hole, heading outside to look for Ren. Meanwhile, Ren continued searching for Leo, calling him in desperation without receiving an answer. His strength failed him, and he fell face down, exhausted. Looking ahead, he saw some bushes moving. "Leo, get out of there!" he shouted with a final hope. The branches of the bushes parted, showing Leo curled up, hands over his ears, in a state of extreme panic. The plant branches lined up with sharp points toward Ren, who, without understanding what was happening, begged Leo to stop, saying that he could control his power. But the branches shot out at high speed. Ren, motionless from exhaustion, could not dodge them. The impact was inevitable until Sofia intervened, activating her fire aura and reducing the branches to ashes. Seeing the situation, with Ren on the ground and Leo terrified, Sofia approached to find answers. Leo, hearing the footsteps heading toward him, reacted by screaming uncontrollably and igniting his earth aura to control more plants and attack whoever approached. Sofia accelerated instantly to dodge the attacks and stood in front of him. "Leo, it's time to wake up," she told him, and delivered a punch that knocked him unconscious. Sofia looked at the two young men on the ground, her mind reliving the moments she met them. She remembered the test she imposed on them, how they fought with all their might to overcome it. Memories of all the training sessions they had passed also came to mind, the hard work they had put in to improve. She thought they had grown a lot in a short time, but today's situation, with all the chaos and danger, had overwhelmed them. While the main battle at Orion Manor continued, Cesar and Bruno prepared for an extremely dangerous mission, facing Kael. The confrontation became more brutal as Moon executives attacked the united guild forces with renewed ferocity. In the midst of the chaos, Kael received a notification that Augusto had not yet appeared in the battle. With a gesture of disdain, the powerful Moon adapter replied that it didn't matter, as he would drag him out by force. At that moment, he ignited his night black aura, his body surrounded by dark flames, preparing for action. Bruno prepared a joint attack with Cesar. The latter, although he knew he was incredibly powerful, was aware that he could not afford a single mistake when facing a Class S opponent. Kael smiled maliciously at the sight of them, convinced that their efforts were in vain. "Today you will know despair," he mocked, while his black fire aura intensified around him. Bruno, aware that large-scale attacks only consumed their strength, opted for a different strategy. Instead of a frontal assault, he became the channel for Caesar's fury. Cesar, for his part, trusted that Bruno's help would compensate for the power difference between his flames and Kael's legendary black flames. Together, they activated their combined attack. Bruno unleashed a whirlwind of wind that consumed the air around him. Cesar, with a roar of defiance, channeled his most potent flames, which were immediately absorbed and amplified by the vortex. The flames became more intense and took on a reddish-orange hue, spinning with blinding speed. The result was a gigantic fire whirlwind that rushed with uncontrollable fury toward Kael, a burning vortex consuming everything in its path. A roar of black flames, flames of Hephaestus, rose from the ground, creating a dark and burning sea between Kael and his adversaries. The fire whirlwind crashed against this defense, and a massive explosion shook the air. Smoke and dust rose across the area, and everyone witnessing the battle was astonished by the power level of the attacks.